अभी
it will help us for the Excel code, okay? And also it has numerous skills and the arrives, these voltage gated channels will open up, influx of the calcium occurs. Okay, please understand, calcium will move from the, that is from the synaptic cleft into the pre-junctional membrane. This is required for the movement. Across the cell membrane, you have understood how exocytosis occur. So the neurotransmitter is thrown into the synaptic cleft. Now the neurotransmitter will travel across the synaptic cleft and go and combine with the receptors which are present on the post-junctional membrane. Now there are numerous receptors on the post-junctional membrane. So these acetylcholine will come and get attached on the acetylcholine receptors. It's like an enzyme link fashion. Okay. The moment these acetylcholine comes and gets linked on the receptors, there is a conformational change which occurs immediately voltage gated sodium channels will open up. Influx of sodium will occur. So influx of sodium will occur, and this leads to a depolarizing change in the muscle membrane. So all of you have understood how the moment influx of sodium occurs, it leads to the depolarization of the membrane. So positive ions will become more. So the whole, both sides of the membrane, of the muscle membrane, will get depolarized. That's how transmission of impulse passes from the nerve to the muscle. Once the depolarizing change has occurred, acetylcholine will be released back from the receptors back into the synaptic cleft. And there is acetylcholine cleft. Now this will break, or acetylcholine will be destroyed by this acetylcholine esterase after its completion of the transmission of the impulse. Now, the moment sodium influx occurs, this is called the influx of sodium is called as end plate potential, which is generated in the muscle membrane. So it's called as EPP, end plate potential, and this is due to the permeability of the muscle membrane due to the sodium ions. Okay, so I repeat again the transmission of impulsion between the nerve and the muscle. Okay, so it consists of pre-junctional membrane, synaptic cleft, and a post-junctional membrane. Okay, this is the philodendria. There is a synaptic cleft between the nerve and the muscle, and you have the muscle membrane. Okay, so when an action potential, when you give a threshold stimulus to the nerve, what are the changes occur? How the transmission occurs? We will talk now. So impulse will arrive at the nerve terminal and increase the permeability of the membrane to calcium ions. Now this calcium ions make the calcium ions will enter from the ECF. All of you know ECF contains numerous calcium ions. Now this calcium will bind to the voltage gated calcium channels, and there will be a conformational chain, and the vesicles filled with the neurotransmitter. You can see in this picture, they move close to the pre-junctional membrane. And exocyte, only when calcium influx occurs, then only the vesicles filled with the neurotransmitter will move close to the pre-junctional membrane. Okay, so they will be exocytosis of the neurotransmitter, and the neurotransmitter, it is always acetylcholine between the muscle. So acetylcholine is left, and acetylcholine will come and fit onto the receptors which are abundant on the junctional force. The cell membrane will be torn into sport ends, and it contains numerous receptors for the acetylcholine. Choline receptor, voltage gated sodium channels are numerous in the post-junction membrane. They open up. This leads to a end generation of the end plate potential. Okay, so this leads to a generation of the end plate potential, and this leads to depolarization of the muscle membrane. Once the transmission has occurred, acetylcholine will be thrown back into the synaptic cleft, okay, and it will be broken by choline esterase enzyme. So to acetyl and choline, acetyl will go back to its original pool, and again choline will go back to the cell soma for further resynthesis of the acetylcholine. Okay, so this is aspect. Okay, you should know two important things here. One is myasthenia gravis and Lambert-Eaton syndrome. So myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder where antibodies are produced against the acetylcholine receptors on the post-junctional membrane. Okay, so antibodies will be produced against the receptors on the post-junction membrane. So the moment acetylcholine is released, there is no place for the acetylcholine to come and get attached because already it is fitted with the antibodies. So the transmission of impulse does not occur. Usually it affects the respiratory muscles. Okay. It affects the respiratory muscles. So one famous personality, all of you, I think all of you would have heard of Amitabh Bachchan. He is suffering from this disorder, myasthenia gravis, or blocked by the antibodies, circulating antibodies. So usually it affects the respiratory muscles and the eyes. Amitabh Bachchan is suffering from myasthenia gravis. Just for you to understand, I just told you. So please do not write like that. So usually they give drugs so that there is the breakdown of acetylcholine does not occur. So you give anti-acetylcholine esterase inhibitors. Okay. So this will delay the breakdown of acetylcholine. So the impulse of transmission of the impulse will occur. Okay. So next you have the Lambert-Eaton syndrome. Again, this is also an autoimmune disorder where antibodies are produced against the voltage-gated calcium channels. So all of you know, voltage-gated calcium channels are present in the pre-junction membrane. So antibodies are produced against the calcium channels. So the calcium channels do not work properly. So calcium influx does not occur. So there is no exocytosis of the neurotransmitter occurring. So this leads to there is no transmission of impulse across the neuromuscular junction. Okay. So both these disorders are entirely different. Myasthenia gravis is an autoimmune disorder where antibodies are produced against the acetylcholine receptors present on the post-junctional membrane. It usually affects the extraocular muscles. So they'll have difficulty in breathing or in speech. Okay. So usually they say that thymus gland, all of you know thymus, it's a lymphoid tissue which is present in the retrosternal region. So the antibodies are produced in this thymus. Usually in myasthenia gravis, thymus is remains, they say, and usually they do thymectomy, that is removal of the thymus usually, right? But so many times without the thymus also antibodies are produced. Okay, and syndrome, it's a condition which affects the neuromuscular junction, but here it is against the calcium channels which are present in the pre-junctional membrane. Okay, so again this has muscle weakness. but both are different. One affects the post-junction membrane, the other one, that is Lambert-Eaton syndrome, affects the pre-junction membrane. Okay, so this is about the neuromuscular junction. So you can unmute yourself. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Sure. I'm sorry, the internet strength is showing good quality. I don't know what is the problem today. If you have not understood, just let me know. I will repeat again. You can unmute yourself. This one, if it get cut, I'll send a second link. Anybody has any doubt? Are you all there? Adityan, Amar,
Yes, ma'am.
regarding this, because it's to send another ID and you can all join.
Okay, ma'am. Okay,